Welcome to this week's Rogers McHugh YouTube video. So in this week's episode, we're talking about why you should work with a recruitment agency. Let's go! Welcome to this week's Rogers McHugh YouTube video. So a slightly different one this week. We're talking this week about why you should use a recruitment agency, why you should work with a recruitment agency. So suppose there's two sort of audiences for this. You've got a hiring community out in there in the wider ether that is maybe reluctant to use an agency, but also for consultants, trainees, anybody within the industry, just to kind of reset and remember what value you add, and if you're not adding this value, then making sure that you certainly do, so that the proposition that you're putting forward to your clients is the best it possibly can be. And this week's video really has been driven by countless LinkedIn posts that I've seen where people are looking to hire, and the last line always says, "Please no agencies." I never see anybody post online saying, "I need to rewire my house and please no electricians apply," or "I need to plumb in a bathroom, please no plumbers apply." Doesn't happen. And I don't believe that at the minute we as an industry are explaining the benefit that we can provide and doing in a lot of cases the service that clients deserve. And that's something that we're trying to really work on here at Rogers McHugh and really try and change. So, why use an agency? There's probably hundreds that people can think of. And for me, I've listed down 5 that I think cover it quite nicely. So the first one, I don't want to pay a recruitment fee. It's too expensive. Okay, that's the first thing to say. So that's the objection that you get. That's what hiring companies believe. What I would actually say is that it's value for money. So you should always work with an agency that operate in a niche. So being completely transparent, we don't necessarily operate in a niche because we cover construction, we cover facilities management, hard and soft services, we cover business support, so your back office staff. However, every consultant within the business has their own niche. So, you know, we've got people that will only recruit for trades and labour, we've got people that will only recruit for PAs and accounts staff, and people that will only recruit for contracts managers and project managers. So we break it down so that each consultant has their own niche. And the benefit of that is that they build up a network of candidates that they're speaking to on a regular basis over a number of years. So what you're actually paying for with that fee is access to their network, is access to candidates that aren't necessarily on the database, on the CV portals, that aren't necessarily out there in the wide world saying, "Hello, look at me, I'm looking for work," because they're invariably not the candidates that you want. The candidates that you want that are softly looking, might be interested if the right opportunity came along, but that's constantly in contact with the recruiter, that's, you know, that they've spoken to over a number of years, they know them, they know what they do in the industry, they know their reputation within the industry, they've probably been out for a couple of drinks with them, coffees with them, building that relationship, honing that relationship, so that when the right opportunity arises, they've got trust in the recruiter that they're working with to put them forward for the right role. And if your role is that right one, then they're going to speak to them very highly, they're going to put a lot of time into trying to coax that candidate into the process, and that's when you get the top tier candidates. So don't see the fee as being a waste of money or being extortionate. It's value for money. You're paying to access somebody's network. And like I say, in some cases, that could be a network that's been honed. I mean, I've been in recruitment now for 13 years. And before anybody puts in the comments, I know I don't look like I've been in the industry that long, but unfortunately I have. But I've built a network of candidates now that I've been working with, speaking to for 13 years. You know, how much would you pay to gain access to that network? The second thing is it reduces the time to hire. So it kind of follows on from the first point to a degree. So if you don't want to use an agency, you have somebody hand the notice in, right, the process starts then. So you've got to advertise it on LinkedIn, Indeed, CV Library, whatever job board you use or however you go about doing it. I'll show you my age now. It used to be in the paper, obviously it's not anymore in the main. But this process starts then. So you've got to write the advert, get the advert posted, wait for the incoming traffic in terms of the CVs, do what we have to do a lot of, and that's sift through a lot of people that aren't in the right country, aren't in the right sector, don't have the required experience because they've not read the advert, takes up a lot of your time. Then you get the interview stage and the process goes on. If you go to a recruiter who are speaking to candidates day in, day out in your sector and your niche, especially, again, if you're going to a niche consultant, they're already speaking to candidates. So it's feasible that the minute that you press the button and say, we need somebody, they might have 3 or 4 suitable candidates lined up. And I'll give you an example of that. A client came to us 2 weeks ago. They were looking for an area manager. They're a soft services commercial cleaning company, looking for an area manager. We got the job in on a Sunday evening. And yes, we do liaise with our clients outside of working hours if they come to us. Although we probably shouldn't, but we do. So the job came in on a Sunday evening. It came in because they've advertised it on LinkedIn and they've not had any response, or certainly not the required level of response in terms of the quality. By Monday, we presented them with 3 CVs. All 3 of those candidates were interviewed. 2 of the 3 were taken to second stage, and 2 of the 3 have then gone on to a third stage process, and you would imagine at that point one of them will get an offer, although the third stages haven't gone ahead yet, so I can't guarantee that. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that there was no time lapse between us receiving the job and them receiving candidates. We didn't have to go and start the process from scratch. We didn't have to start advertising for the role. We didn't have to start the campaign from scratch. We already had candidates that we'd been speaking to, that we'd been networking with, that were open to considering opportunities that we could speak to on the Monday morning and get the CVs submitted straight away. The candidates have already been spoken to. We know what the roles, what roles they're looking for. We know what money they're looking for. We know what type of business they're looking for that they'll fit into, and the processes work seamlessly. Obviously, if you go to a generic agency that don't specialise in your market, then you're not reducing the time, because they're going to do what you've done. They're going to have to advertise it, and they're going to have to start the process from scratch each time, which is why I would always say pick a specialist. And that's why we make sure that although we're a generalist agency, we're a generalist specialist, so every individual within the business has their own specialism. Number 3, agencies are able to provide value. They provide solutions, and they can add value. So if you put a job advert out there because you want to do it yourself, and you're wanting everybody in the office 5 days a week, as an example, but all of your competitors are offering 2 days a week from home, it's feasible, A, you don't have that information, and B, when you put the advert out there, because there's no hybrid working, you're not going to attract candidates. However, what a good consultant could do is they could say to you, well, all of your competitors, because I'm working with some of them, because I'm working within a niche that you're involved in, are offering 2 days a week working from home. Is that something you would consider? These are the benefits that our other clients have found in doing this. It might be nothing to do with hybrid working. I know that's quite a topic of conversation in a minute. It might not be anything to do with hybrid. It might be the salary. Your salary might be $5,000 lower than all of your competitors. And again, you put the advert out there, 3 weeks later you've not had any response because all your competitors are paying more than you. At the point of them taking the job in off yourself, they'd be saying to you, just to make you aware, Mr. Client, all of your competitors are slightly higher than yourself in the salary bandings. They're looking at 5k more than you. Is this something we can look at for somebody with industry experience? If not, that's absolutely fine. We'll continue to look at trying to find candidates. However, I will advise it's going to be harder because your competitors are paying more. Getting somebody from one of your competitors is going to be more difficult because they're going to have to take a pay cut. What can you offer that they can't? But at least you're aware, even if you don't want to pay the $5,000 more, which is absolutely your choice, you're aware of the situation. You can potentially explain to the consultant why you're not paying more. It might be that you offer benefits that far outweigh that. It might be that they get more holidays that people see value in. It might be that there's an end of year bonus that they don't get where they are. So there's many things that can contribute to that, but they can advise you, they can add value, they can provide solutions. It might be that you're looking for a specific type of candidate that may be very difficult to find, and they can say, well, we're going to struggle to find that exact experience. However, have you thought of X, Y, and Z, whatever that might be? Somebody coming from a slightly different sector that might need training up slightly. However, they're easier to find. You'll get more candidates. We'll be able to move quicker. So they're adding value. They're providing solutions. Again, if you're doing it yourself, you're not getting that benefit of their knowledge from speaking to your competitors and candidates in your market all day, every day. A big one, number 4, they're experienced at managing the process. And if you're not managing the process for your clients and your candidates, stop what you're doing and start doing that, because you want to understand what's motivating your candidates, and most importantly, you want to prevent them falling out at the end. So there's nothing worse for somebody looking to hire. They advertise the job, they carry out the interviews, they offer them, the candidate accepts. A week later or a week before they're due to start, they ring up, sorry, I'm not starting, the client that I'm working with or the company that I'm working with have offered me more money and I'm staying where I am. You have less dropouts when you work with an agency, simply because they know how to manage the process. They know how to understand what the candidate's looking for. They'll get the reasons for leaving prior to the first interview. They'll remind them through the process of the reasons for leaving. They know how to objection handle, so they'll be preparing the candidate for that counter offer before they even get it, so that when the candidate receives the counter offer, the recruiter will have been through the process of how to why you shouldn't take the counter offer, the reasons behind it, the facts behind it, the numbers behind it, reminding them of the reasons that they're looking. It's not all about money. If it is all about money, they probably won't be putting them forward, because they'll weed that out of them early on in the process. So you have less dropouts. So it's more likely, it's not 100%, nothing ever is, but it's more likely that the process will conclude with the candidate coming on board, because they've put all that work in throughout the whole process. And reason number 5, they're experts. This is what we do day in, day out. I wouldn't try and rewire my house. I am not the handiest person anyway. I definitely wouldn't try and rewire my house. But what I am good at, and what my team are good at, and hopefully if you're watching this as a recruiter, what you're good at is hiring people, is recruiting, is going through the process, is building a network, is providing solutions to your clients, and all those things. It's a reminder of what you should be doing to add value to your clients. And if you're a client watching this, these are all the reasons why I don't like seeing please no agencies, because agencies can provide so much value if you've got the right one. Like I say, if you're speaking to specialist consultants, and if there's respect both ways, so if the consultant respects the client and the client respects the consultant, and there's an open line of communication. We won't work a job. If we get sent an email with a job spec on and they won't speak to us to go through the details, they won't let us go and visit them at their office, we won't work that job. And that's not because we don't want to work that job, because we want to work with all of our clients. But that's my exact point. We want to work with our clients. We need to know that if we're putting a candidate forward, they're going to fit into the role, not just because the role's right for them and that's the salary's right, the location's right, and the roles and responsibilities are right. We want to know that they're going to fit into the team, because again, we want to manage the process. We want to be able to explain to them what the team culture is like, how many's in it, what do they do, are they all football fans, are they all rugby fans, do they all go out on a Friday after work for a drink, what's the culture within the team? Because we want to make sure that when they land, when they start, they're happy in the environment so that they stay. Because if you think it's bad when people call you up a week before they're due to start to say that they're not starting, it's even worse when they're a week in and then they leave and say that they don't want to stay because of the environment. And by us getting out to see the clients, by us seeing the team, which isn't always the case, because sometimes there's some nervousness around that if it's a position that they don't want the team to know that they're hiring for, but we can at least see the office, ask questions, get a feel for the environment that we're sending somebody into. So if somebody sends us an email with a job description on, we're not working that, because we value our time and our clients' time far too much. And our concern as experts is that if we work that, we put candidates forward, it might not be the right candidate, and we don't want to do that. So, a little bit different this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. We are trying to get the videos out to more people, so if you have enjoyed it and you're still watching this point, please subscribe to the channel. We get figures through every week, and at the minute 80% of the people watching the videos aren't subscribers to the channel. So do me a favour, if you're watching this and you've got this far, subscribe to the channel because we release a new video every week. If you think there's anything that I've missed over why people should use an agency, feel free to put it in the comments and we'll come back to you. And on the flip side of that, if you are a client that refuses to use an agency, I'd be interested to know why you don't want to use agencies. Again, feel free to put that in the comments. I'm all for a bit of healthy debate, and we'll obviously liaise with you on there. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll be releasing another video at the same time next week, and we'll see you then.